Welcome to your first kill in a Thrasher. So the point of this video is I'm going to show you everything you need to know to go out there and get your first kill in an armor Thrasher. I'm going to show you the fitting, then I'm going to show you how I set up the kill, and I'm going to explain all the tactics and methodology for setting everything up. And then I'm going to show you a couple kills I just got with the Thrasher a few minutes ago. So first off, here's the fit for the Thrasher we're going to be using. I will put this fitting, the export for it, in the article on Eve Pro Guides, and you can just copy that into EFT or PIFA. I need to switch to PIFA, but I haven't made the switch yet. For the Thrasher, it doesn't matter. Nothing really has changed. I probably should change this compact to a cold gas, a little bit better. That's just left over from years ago when I used to fly this ship. So, let's go over the fit a little bit here. So we got a damage control. That's kind of standard. That's our resists. We got 400 millimeter steel plate 2s. That gives us our armor. So we've got decent effective hit points. We've got 9,500 armor. Effective. Reasonable resist. A little bit of an explosive hole, but you know, it's acceptable. We've got decent speed, 1478. I'd like better, but the armor plate slows us down a little bit. It's good enough. We got a web, we got a scram, then we got lots of DPS output. This is the best part of this ship. It's I think I paid 11 million ISK for this ship in Jeddah. Not sure, but I think it was 11 million. And it's 300 DPS already, but we're going to change that in just a second. I've got the Tech 2 DPS rig here for the collision. I'm not really sure why I used collision. I should have used the burst. Kind of strange that I used that. Let's change that right now. Because burst is going to give you more overall DPS. It's going to increase the fire rate of your guns. More shots fired. More rolls of the dice to get good hits. It just works out better in your favor. The only time you'd use a collision instead of a burst, if you can only use one, is when you're trying to save capacitor in some cases, or when you're trying to maximize your alpha, as is the case with the Insta-Lock, Insta-Pops Fapal that I did a video and article about. So faction ammo, I carry the three main types of faction ammo: EMP, phase plasma, fusion. Let's see if they have them over here. Yeah, so that's what I carry as far as ammo: phase plasma, fusion, EMP, barrage. Never going to use it, but carry it. Some nanite paste and some inferno rockets because, you know, extra DPS is extra DPS, right? So getting a lot of emails tonight. Alright, so for implants, I like to run cheap implants. I always have. So what I do is I go over here to turrets and I always run the 3% to small projectile or small hybrid or small energy, you know, whatever. The 3%, it's like $1 million ISK. It's dirt cheap, gives you 3% more DPS. Look what that did. So we started at 306. I added that. I also put on a SS 903. Just the 901 is what I put on. Not the 903. 903 is expensive. 901 is $1 million ISK. Right? So we've already up 12 DPS with just these little ones. Then I used, what else did I use? I used an EM 701 because it's armor. I wanted to add a little bit of agility. So to make up for its bad agility, I put an EM 701 on there. It really makes almost no difference, but you know, it's less than 1 million ISK. Throw it on there anyway. And HG 1001, and that adds some armor hit points. That's 583 without it, 527. So an extra 56 armor hit points, or overall hit points. And it's not much, but every little advantage helps. So those are the implants I'm running here. Each one's about $1 million ISK, 4 implants. You could probably throw something in that slot 8. I'm not really sure what it would be. You could do the MC 803, and that wouldn't hurt. That's that's usually between 1 and 3 million ISK for the 803, and that's more structure hit points. So that wouldn't hurt. You could do that. All right, so there's your ship. You got 300 DPS. You can overload, and with my skills, I've got thermodynamics 5. I can overload for about 39 seconds. The reason it's so short is because you have so many weapons. The fewer weapons you have, the longer you can overload, which is why a lot of the faction frigates are really nice. They've only got 2 weapons, like the pirate Succubus. It's got 2 lasers, so you can overload those things for like 3 minutes straight. You pretty much have to just overload them all the time, the way it's set up. But like this, you get your DPS up pretty high. 363. As you're going to see in the videos, the DPS is pretty ridiculous when you apply it to a frigate. I mean, you just tear a frigate apart. So that's the fitting. Now we're going to move on to how you set up and prepare to start getting your first kill. Alright, so what we need to do to set up is we first need to find a good location. And to do that, you look on your map, and honestly, you're going to be a little bit better off using .land maps to look at the map, because this is a little bit harder to understand in game. But one stat that is important in game is jumps in the last hour. That's under star map stars, jumps in the last hour, or actually statistics, then jumps in the last hour. So as you can see, there's 23 jumps in the last hour here in this system. That's not good. But this is a system that I've camped before and I've had success with, so I'm just going to try this one. If it doesn't work, I can go to a higher volume system over here, 44 in FD, and XM has 58. So potentially finding the 2 most jumped gates. So it would be this one and this one. So what I would do is in XM, I would camp the direction of from this gate to this gate, from K5 to FD, which means on the FD gate in XM I would put my bubble, and that's what I would do. I might end up having to do that if I can't get a kill here. Let me go ahead and orbit this gate at 500 just for safety. So I did notice there's someone else in local. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to find a pipe system for your bubble, or a system that has a choke point. What I'm at right now is a choke point. It's not a great choke point, but it's a pretty good one. So what happens is you can see these 3 gates, ZVN, 2X, ATY. All 3 of these gates are in the same spot. So if I were to warp to one of these gates, let's just go ahead and do that. If I was to warp to one of those gates, then all the other gates are right beside it. So a bubble on the gate I'm on right now, MHC, and MHC happens to be the main way out of Syndicate. For anybody behind this area, which is a lot of people, they'll go through MHC and then to Herul and to Ostengale and Stackmon from there. But all these gates are next to each other. Look how close they are. So let's go ahead and close this map. So they're all really close to each other, which means that I can drag all 3 gates in one bubble on the MHC gate. And that is really, really nice. Let's see what I got here. All right, I already have tacticals, but another thing you need to do once you get to the system is you need to set up. So one of the most important things to do is to set up a tactical, which is a bookmark at least 150 and usually at least 200 off of the main gates. So the main gates here are ZVN and MHC. Those are going to be the most high traffic, with 6 Charlie, 6-CZ being pretty high traffic also, but I'm not catching or sitting on that gate, so I'm just not going to be concerned with it. I've also got a safe spot, so if I need to hide for a little while, I can go to the safe spot. So now that I'm on this gate, I'm on one of the 3 gates here that I want to catch from. So I want to catch people coming from ZVN to MHC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warp to MHC at 100. Warp drive active. And I'm going to drop my bubble where I come out of warp. Now what that's called a stop bubble, because it stops you before you get to the gate, rather than a drag bubble, which is a little bit more difficult to set up and takes more time. And the advantages you get from a drag bubble versus a stop bubble are negligible. It is better, but in real life PvP, save yourself the 10 minutes and just do a stop bubble, right? So we're going to go ahead and drop this. We're going to launch for self. You have to have anchoring level something, maybe level 1, I'm not sure. But you have to have the anchoring skill for this. And you want to go ahead and anchor. It's going to take 2 minutes. And before I anchored it, I should have done this. What I like to do is I like to sight through the gate I'm on to the gate that I'm catching from, and let's see if it lines up really good, and that one does. So that's one way to line stuff up. If you're doing a drag bubble, then that's how you line it up, is you sight it like that, like you're sighting a rifle. And so, yeah, that should be just fine. So what that's going to be anchoring for right now. So while it's anchoring, what I would be doing if I didn't already have it is I would be setting up my tacticals. So while that was anchoring, I would turn on my micro warp drive and I'd burn straight up like I've done before. And I typically set them about 300 kilometers off the gate. Now, some people would probably ask, why did I drop this bubble at 100 from the gate rather than 70, 50, 30, 20, 10 even? The reason is because I want to isolate out traffic from this gate as well. So if I'm fighting on this bubble and someone jumps in through this gate, they can't get to me instantly. They can't warp to me because I'm at less than 150 kilometers. And to get to me, they would have to burn to me. And that's 100 Ks, 100 kilometers. So it's going to take them a while. That gives me time to maybe finish the target or to change what I'm doing. It gives me a chance to adapt, and the more time you have, the better. So that gives me an opportunity to adapt. You want to be 100 off so that you're not vulnerable to stuff coming through this gate, and it takes longer for anything caught here. Let's say that something caught here was a over afterburner prop, maybe a 10MN destroyer or something like that, like 10MN's Faypool, let's say. It's going to take him longer to afterburner all the way to the gate while webbed. If we're 100K off, giving me more time to kill him. Not that I'm going to be killing Svapools here. My main target, as we talked about, is mostly frigates, but I may attempt other targets as I see the possibility. So now what we want to do, we've got that set up, is we want to go ahead and align. Actually, let's do this first. Let's go straight to the bubble. Pull one thing out here, one of your ammo. Get on the bubble. Then as soon as you're close to the bubble, hit align to the gate that you're camping from. So the inbound traffic, align to that. Move your camera over to the side. Look at it just like I am. And wait for the edge of the bubble to come on camera. As soon as it does, control space, stop. So here we go. Right there. Jettison. Do it pretty quick so you don't drift too far. And drop it. Okay? So that's your can. Now what that can's going to do is it's going to decloak incoming stuff, but only if the incoming stuff is within, I believe, 2.5K of it, right? Or is it 2K? I think it's 2K. Yeah, it's 2K. So what you want to do as this goes on, you have a timer before you can drop another can, is in a couple minutes what I'll do is I'll burn to the side. And actually I would do this right now. Burn off and get about 3K from it, and then just sit my ship there. So my ship's uncloaking, the can's uncloaking, and I've got 2 uncloaking points there. And then in a minute or 2, I would drop another can, and I would try to get usually about 3 or 4 cans on the edge of this bubble to uncloak. Now, because I've got people in local, and I don't know who these people are, I don't recognize him or that group. I don't recognize them. So I don't know who they are. This guy, yeah, he appears to be a Care Bear, but I don't know that for sure. So what I would typically do for safety is I would go and I would warp up here to my tactical, because one of the threats to me when I'm doing this is that I could be caught by a cloaky ship, whether it be a Black Ops drop. It's very unlikely for a Thrasher. It's not worth the fuel. But I could still be caught by something cloaky. Let's say a Pilgrim could uncloak. Several of those other ships, Stratios could uncloak. There's lots of things, a Rapier, that could uncloak and then kill me. And possibly I wouldn't have enough time to get out. So that's why you would oftentimes sit here and stay aligned up here. And just keep an eye on your scanner looking for probes in case they're trying to probe you to get a warp in. Keep your situational awareness high so you know what's going on around you. Beyond that, now we just have to wait for a target to come. So I've got everything set up. Now it's time for the wait. You got to be patient. Sometimes you'll set up a bubble like this and it's nonstop. Boom, 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 kills left and right. Sometimes you'll set it up and you'll get nothing for hours. Sometimes you'll set it up and a big fleet will come through and blow it up. That's why we've got two. It's because if some fleet comes by that we can't fight, I'm just going to avoid them. They'll blow up my bubble trying to be, irritating or whatever, and I'll just go put up another bubble after they move through. No big deal. They're less than 1 million each. Not a big deal. So I'll start the video again once we have some action. Alright, so we just had a person jump in, Loves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line down to the can. What you want to do whenever somebody jumps in is you want to watch this gate, look for a flash. If you see one, he's going the opposite direction. I did not see one, so that means that he came from another gate. Good chance he came from one of ours. We're going to go ahead and warp down. We see a heron and we see core probes. Let's go down and we got him. It's game time, friends. Let's do this. Alright, so this is pretty easy. Heron's not a challenge unless there's some trick fits, but you're not going to encounter any of them. Try to get the pod. A lot of times the pod's the more valuable thing. No luck. And it's as simple as that. So there's our first kill in the Thrasher. He says, okay, that was quick. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab all this. Might as well. And that's that. I'm going to try to get some more kills. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll restart it for the next guy who comes in. One more note is as you kill stuff, all this stuff that ends up around here ends up also decloaking for you. I just had another +1. I had to mute my music. I didn't see anything come from there, so I'm going to go ahead and align to here. There's 2 now, so we got that guy who's left. So they're going to 6 Charlie most likely, or from 6 Charlie to ZVN. Most likely, but we'll keep watching just in case. Inyo, I'll take it. That's a fun fight. Let's change to fusion. Explosive damage for the Inyo because he's going to be an armor tank. Wait for my overload. I don't have much overload on this, so now. Keep an eye on directional overview, make sure nothing else is coming in. It's an easy fight though. I'm an armor buffer, so no worries. Good fun. So that was a good kill. That's exactly the type of kill you're looking for when you're flying the Thrasher. Got some loot, making money. Close to 20 mil of that loot is loot I've got from those 2 kills. So I've already, if I were to take this loot and not lose it before I, not die before I drop it off somewhere, I've already paid for like 2 of these ships. Let's check out that kill. I need to repair anyway because let's get up to the tactical. It's always safer to go up to your tactical. So let's have a look at that kill. Say 43 millionist kill. He had an afterburner. Good thing I had a web, otherwise I wouldn't have held him down. What else? Yeah, pretty standard fit there. Afterburner. Usually you would expect an ancillary armor pair instead of a Tech 2. Other than that, that's pretty much the standard fit. Let's check the pod. No implants. And then I just wanted to show you this kill real quick before we end this. That was a PvP by the looks of it, a PvP Heron. He's one of those tracking disrupting Herons. I rarely see them. Maybe they're making a comeback. The last time I ran into one was about 3 years ago. And he was actually pretty good. He almost beat me. But But it's good fights. Those are the 2 first kills in a Thrasher. I've been out here for less than an hour, maybe 30 minutes. I'm not even sure. I'd say 30 minutes to an hour. I've gotten 2 good kills, made enough in loot to pay for twice my ships. Not that you should expect that. PvP is usually a negative ISK occupation. But sometimes you make a little bit of ISK, and if you drop it off at a station somewhere and save it up and then pick it up every once in a while, take it to Jita, you can make some good money. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. I think I'm going to title this Your First Kill in the Thrasher.